All right, so I just finished watching Paul Thorpe's latest video, which is about a robbery that was, it just makes me sick, these things, and I just wanted to talk about it because, and I'll link the Paul Thorpe's video in the description. But man, I'm just so infuriated by this shit because, Dan, the guy who was robbed and who was featured in Paul Thorpe's video, he said it. Dan said it. He said, we work so hard for these things. We work so hard to afford nice things. Just to have a couple of scumbags, absolute degenerates, come up to you and just rip it off your wrist. And watching it, I can't help but think about myself and think about situations that I've been in where I was pretty nervous. I thought, man, this guy is looking at my watch and he's, any minute now, he's going to come up to me and try to take it. I've been in those situations. I live in New York, I live in Brooklyn, and I work in Manhattan. So every day, and I work the night shift. So every night at around 10 p.m., I take the subway into Manhattan. And I go through some, not so fantastic neighborhoods on my way to Manhattan. And if you know New York, if you know the city right now, the subways suck. They're dangerous. A lot of petty crime goes on in there, and a lot of just disgusting sort of nastiness goes on in there, and there's very little enforcement, which I understand. I mean, it's not the cops' fault. It's not the police's fault. It's the city's fault. Just last year we cut the NYPD's budget by $1 million. Oh no, was it $1 billion? I think we had a $4 billion budget and it was cut to $3 billion, something like that, like a big 25% cut with all this defund the police nonsense. So we're seeing the effects of it now. The subway was never, the safest place in the world, but now it's genuinely a little bit dangerous, and you have to watch out. You have to watch your back, especially if you're wearing a Rolex, or any watch that's expensive, but Rolex in particular, because it's just so recognizable, and that's part of why we love these watches. We love that they're iconic. I mean, if you see this, you pretty much know exactly what it is. The oyster bracelet, the black bezel, you know what it is immediately. And don't think that it's just watch enthusiasts that know what watch you're wearing, or that that's a Rolex, or that that's a Pepsi. I think it might have been Paul Thorpe himself who said something that always stuck with me. It may not have been him. I may not be crediting the right person, but someone said the following. They said, there are two types of people who notice your watch, and it's not the hot girl that you think it is. There's two types of people who notice your watch. There's fellow watch enthusiasts, and there's people who are looking to take that watch from you, who know the value of the watch and just how quickly they can get $7, $8, $9,000 for that watch. I mean, you got to think. If you were robbing people, if you were the type of scumbag that was out there sticking people up and mugging people, what would you look for? Knowing what you know, okay? You'd look for Rolexes. They're all over the place, okay? So, they're ubiquitous. You will find them. If you hang out outside long enough, you'll see somebody with a Rolex. I just saw one just now. I went to pick up my breakfast, and I just saw a guy with a Pepsi. I didn't stop him. Normally I would stop him and say, what up? But he was walking fast with a girl. But I knew it immediately. I took one tiny glance at it, and I knew what it was. So they're everywhere. They are so sellable, so easily sellable, and these guys are not going to take it down to, David S.W. or Crown and Caliber, and they're not that stupid. They're going to sell the watch within their sort of shady network. So they may not get the full $10,000 for this watch or whatever. They might get a little bit less, but they're still getting, you know, $7, $8, $9,000 in one shot. I mean, how long does it take to rob somebody? 30 seconds, 45 seconds? So in 45 seconds, they just made $8,000. Okay, as opposed to going up and robbing people like with wallets. You know, the wallet may have a couple $100 in it at most, but a Rolex, that's thousands of dollars right there, and it's easy to sell. You know, you can sell it quickly, you can move it quickly. So if I were robbing people, all right, if I were that type of piece of shit, I'd be looking for Rolexes to rob. You know, and it's a shame because we love these things, we work hard to achieve them, and some piece of shit comes up and takes it. So, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about that. I'll mention an experience that I had. So, I was coming home from work in the morning, okay? This was around 7 a.m. because my shift is from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So it was probably around 7:15. And at that time, in the New York City subways, it's very quiet, okay? There's not a lot of people around. And the people who are around, this was a weekend too, so the people who are around taking the subway at that time are party goers who were out really late and going home. You know, other working class people like me going to their early shifts, or third and most importantly, shady people who've been out all night doing shady shit. Okay, so those are really the three types, and there's very few people around. It'll be you and maybe two other people on a platform waiting for a particular train. And that was the situation I found myself in. It was me. There was one woman who looked like a nurse and one guy. And I swipe my card and go onto the platform, and I walk towards where the guy is, and he was standing in like my spot. If you take the subway, you know, like you have an area of the platform that you like to stand in and wait for the train. I don't know why, it's just a ritualistic thing. And so he was in my spot, so I quickly had to say, should I go past him or should I stay in front of him and more towards the turnstiles? And I made that decision a little bit late, so I got to him, and then I decided, wait, let me hang out closer to the turnstile. I don't want to be back past him where there's no exit down there. There's no exit. So let me stay between the exit and him. So I was here. But it was too late. I think he saw my watch, and this was when I had the Pepsi. So even more flashy and noticeable than this. You know, the red and blue, it pops. So I'm 90% sure that he saw my watch. I didn't see his eyes look at my watch directly, but within 3 seconds, he went from kind of looking around to looking at me. And in that time, I had looked at the when the train was arriving. I kind of was looking at my surroundings, and then I looked back at him, and he's locked on me. So that's straight away weird, you know? Why are you looking at me? If you're going to work or if you're coming home from a party or whatever, you're minding your own business, you're listening to music, or you're in your own space. You're not locked on someone else. That's immediately a red flag. So my stomach drops a little bit. I'm like, oh, fuck. I decide, since there was about 6 minutes until the train arrived, I said, let me get away from this guy. Let me slowly and casually walk to the other end, close to the turnstiles, but over here. Let me just walk a little bit, maybe 50 feet away from him. And I do that, and I disguise it by looking at the times for the subway. Like, I had to go get a closer look. Next thing I know, this guy is slowly making his way over to me. He's slowly coming back this way, also being pretty nonchalant about it, and looking at me. He'll glance at me and then, you know, walk and then look at me and walk, look at me. And I'm like, man, this is it. It's going down for sure. I was sure it's going down. So somehow I hold him off. Well, I didn't do anything, but nothing happened until the train arrived. And there were two trains arriving within 2 minutes of each other. So, and I could take either train. Either train worked for me. So I was obviously going to get on the first train because it's going to arrive to my destination before the second train. But when the train doors open, I get on, right? No, sorry. No. When the train doors open, I walk towards the doors as if I'm going to get on, but I stop and kind of look confused, like, oh, should I take this train or the next one? And I don't get on. And then I see, on a couple doors down, I see him get on the train, look at me, right? And then make his way back towards the door to get off the train. And in that split second, I said, I don't know how I came to this decision, but I was like, Mark, you got to make the right decision here. You got to just either get on this train or you're going to be stuck with this guy on the platform, which, by the way, will have now 0 people on it. Before there were 2 or 3, there will be 0 people on it now. So at the last second, as the doors were closing, I get on the train. The doors close, I sit down, heart pounding, honestly. It may not sound like an intense situation, but it was. The doors close, and as the train moves away, I see the guy staring at me. He went like this to me as the train went by. Bro, I was happy that I got away from him, but man, I was shaking. I was like, how did I get out of that one? How did I avoid that one? Because for sure, he was planning something. It was an opportunistic situation for him. He saw that I had the watch on, and he was planning on how to get it, you know? So, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6 feet tall and 230 pounds. I'm a big guy, and I was significantly bigger than this guy, but even still, he scared the shit out of me because a knife or a gun, there's no chance. I'm giving him my watch. Maybe I'll put up a little bit of a fight, but as soon as there's any physical harm to me, take the watch, man. It's not worth it. So, even though I haven't been victimized myself, I empathize with this guy Dan in Paul Thorpe's video because things happen so fast. You know, you think that you're going to be aware of all of the environments that you enter. You think that you're on top of your game. You're clocking everybody and seeing what they're all about. And you think that you would notice somebody who was shady or somebody who was looking to victimize you. You'd think you'd clock them and you'd think you'd see them, but sometimes to anybody, this can happen to anybody, you're not going to see them. And the moment's going to be, it'll be too late. And you'll find yourself in a situation where you either have very few options or no options at all. I had, in my situation, some options. And somehow, by the grace of God, I made it out of it, right? But this guy, Dan, had no options. He got out of his car. These two guys came up to him almost immediately and asked him for a cigarette. And, you know, boom, right there. If you pause the screen on that moment, Dan can't get out of that. There's two guys right in front of him within his 3 feet of personal space asking for a cigarette. It's over for him. He's not getting out of that situation. He's not running, you know? So, man, Dan, even though I doubt you're ever going to see this, man, I'm sorry. That really, really sucks. I not empathize, I sympathize, man. Seriously, that's awful. And I hope you know, it was a date just, so I hope you got more pieces to enjoy. I hope that wasn't your one and only piece. It sounds like it wasn't, the way you talked about it, but I'm not downplaying it. Any piece, being robbed or victimized in this way is awful regardless. But I do hope that you're still able to enjoy Rolex and enjoy this hobby because, you know, don't let these scumbag pieces of garbage take your hobby from you, you know, your interest from you, you know. Anyway, look, best of luck to you, Dan. I hope that maybe the watch shows up on at a Rolex service center and you get it back one day. That'd be awesome. But in the meantime, you know, I hope you heal from what happened to you, man. All right, peace out.